Hello and welcome. So today we're going to be looking in the woodland garden, and it's just going to be a simple video looking at some of the best of the plants that are out and about right now. So we're going to start with this monkshood, aconitum. We don't know the cultivar. And as you can see, the bees are just having an absolute field day today. It's not been the best year for a lot of plants. It's been quite cold, slow start, and it's been quite dry afterwards. So some of the plants that have done well are plants that would often do well, and vice versa. Nonetheless, we're going to go around and see what's looking good right now. So here we've got some lovely Hart's tongue fern, Asplenium scolopendrum, and the variety is meant to be cristata, though there's a little bit of a mix in here which was not planned, but I actually quite like the way it's turned out. I feel like you've got the split-leaved ones which stand out even better against the more normal scolopendrum, which are the angustifolium, sorry, which are these kind of really crinkly-leaved ones. The whole bed's just been weeded and mulched, so it's got that fresh look to it, but it hopefully will blend in a few weeks. Foxgloves this year, they're past it now, sad to say, but they've been absolutely wonderful. This is Pam's choice, it's an absolute classic. We'll save the seed, we don't know if it will come true, but it has honestly just been such a wonderful year for foxgloves. And I suppose they're adapted to it, being a woodland plant. They'll take the dry, they'll take the wet, they'll take the shade. That's them, tough as old boots. So we've loved having them here, and we look forward to them next year. Nice lamium. Quite honestly, I can't remember which cultivar it is, but this is why gardeners have notes, so we'll dig it out and we'll stick it in the description. Just lovely, just a lovely dry shade woodland cover. Painted lady ferns here, which have struggled. It hasn't been the best year for a lot of plants establishing, as we've already discussed, but I'm just so glad to see them taken here. And we just have to cast our minds for a few years' time when they just completely carpet this floor, and it's going to be a truly wonderful sight. There's actually one here that's reverted, and this is more typical of a wild painted lady fern, Atrium niponicum. So that gives you a clue of how they would, closer to a wild looking one. Alright, so this, to be honest, there's so many things down this little avenue here that we're just gonna take a look down and get a little look at those. We've got the last of the verbascum here, which it's past it now, but it looked absolutely beautiful when it was in flower, and hopefully it might come back. Semi-perennial. For the Helenium, I think it's Moorheim Beauty. This is it planted in a more wild style, and again it's fairly damp in there. It seems to be appreciating that, even though we've had a drought. We've got some of the bigger Astilbes, Astilbe chinensis further back in there, that's starting to perk up as well. Over here we've got one of my favourites, which is the Longplace sensibilis, or sensitive fern, and that's starting to take really well, and again it will form a carpet, you know, it spreads with the rhizome, so it's a really good ground cover. Come down here, these cryptomerias were quite newly planted. They seem to be establishing well. Again, it's 20-30 years for a specimen tree to really come on its own. It's still looking good. A little bit more of the Astilbe chinensis. A lot of things we thought had died this year haven't. They were just really late because of the dodgy weather. Things like the variegated pineapple mint, which we've left buried in its pot to limit its spread. But that doesn't mean it isn't going to run away on us if we're not careful. We've got Ligularia, the rocket. I just love the way these yellow flowers contrast against the black stems here. It's a really nice foliage plant as well. Geraniums have kind of had their day. We've got the last of the corn cockle here. But again, they held their own. They flowered for a good amount of weeks this year. Got the fish mint. Just again, really nice ground cover. Same as the normal mint. It needs to be in those pots. It is a bit of a thug, especially in wet areas. The alliums. I'm not sure if the wind or some children with sticks have got to them recently, but still absolutely wonderful. Got some newly planted soft shield ferns, which are in the which family?
Polystichman.
And then one of my favourites, I wasn't sure if it'd be too much for a woodland garden. I really like the way they've turned out. These are the lilies, oriental lilies. Forever Susan, I think the cultivar is. And it just brings us through to the end of the border. Which, we'll go get a look at the cold flowers. They're almost over, but really nice. I think it was just a standard polka dot mix, and they've really filled in the space quite nicely. They do get a bit messy and untidy, but I think it's nice to have some naturalistic planting at the entrances as well. It leads people in to not expect too much formality. So we're going to end up today looking at this. This is Great Mullein, Verbascon thapsus. It's one of my favourite plants, just as a touch plant. I mean, it's got these lovely, lovely soft leaves. I believe it's got medicinal properties as well, but that isn't what we're getting into in this video. I love it for these tall flower spikes. Kind of foxglove-like shape, yet it doesn't open from the bottom up. They just kind of open sporadically. It's just a really good plant. Now's about the time of year we sow it. It's biennial, so we sow it now. It flowers next year. It's just a really nice addition to the woodland garden. It's something that I would recommend growing. It's quite a tough old plant. What else would I say about it? Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to comment, like and subscribe.